The Syrian people are moderate. They are not going to live under al-Nusra or some foreign jihadist. Is there going to be problems if Bashar Assad left and we'd have to help the moderates get rid of all of these jihadists that are flowing in from all over, not just the Middle East or the world? Yeah, is it complicated? Is it difficult? But is the status quo acceptable, Mike? That's the question. There is no good answer. And by the way, I have to repeat over and over and over again, no American boots on the ground. If you had a negotiated departure for Bashar Assad, it would be much easier to secure these chemical weapons sites. It's a tragedy. It's a great tragedy that's going on, and I wish every American could visit one of these refugee camps.
So, Senator, you make a strong argument, but there wasn't the support in this country for strikes. There wasn't support around the world for strikes, and there wasn't the votes in Congress. Who stands with you on
Mika,
this?
You know, it has felt a little lonely from time to time, but I was reading a book recently, a brand new book about the Korean War called Brothers in Arms. Harry Truman's approval rating sunk down into the 20s over the Korean War. If Harry Truman had bowed to public opinion, the world would be a very different place if we've lost in Korea. There are times when leaders have to stand up, and frankly, when others have to say what they believe, and if it costs you politically. As you know, I had some very interesting town hall meetings back in Arizona, but that's what you're supposed to do, you know. So,
and that's, you know, even Bill Clinton has politely chided the president when he was with Tony Blair, talking about how sometimes you have to make unpopular decisions, and we are war-weary as a nation. The point I keep making here, though, is we sent troops to Bosnia, we sent troops to Kosovo, we sent troops to Iraq, we sent troops to Afghanistan, and we tripled the number of troops of Afghanistan at a time I didn't think we needed to do that. In this case, with Syria, though, you've got Syria, you've got Iran, and you've got North Korea. And I'm sorry, I call everybody else rivals. Those three countries don't consider themselves rivals of the United States. They consider themselves our sworn enemies. And so when one of these three rivals are in a position that they're in using chemical weapons, I wonder if we aren't all like the generals that are fighting the last war and not doing enough.
First of all, Bosnia and Kosovo, we didn't put boots on the ground until we bombed Kosovo for 78 days. And
right.
And I would argue those were successful ventures, Bosnia and Kosovo, when you look at the long-term results. All I can say is no boots on the ground. I can say that if Bashar Assad succeeds, and everybody is now believing that that's the case, but also Mr. Putin is now in a place that he has not been ever. The Russians haven't been since 1970, and that's disturbing, particularly with that piece he had in the New York Times. I mean,
are you going to write an answer in Pravda?
Yes, we're writing an answer.
You have to come back and talk about that.
I'd love to
read Pravda.
Could I just mention finally, there's no good options here. But to do nothing, I think, is the worst option. And I hope that we have not sent a message to people all over the world, that, including our adversaries and bad people, that we are not willing to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Senator John McCain, thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
Thanks for having me on.
Show.